Hello everyone, my name is Bacon, and today I will be showing a vehicle that I have really been enjoying as of late. This is the KV-1 ZiS-5, a Russian Tier 3 heavy tank at a BR of 4.3, and frankly, this is a bloody fun tank to drive. Up tier games can be a little bit shaky, games at your BR and down tier games on the other hand can be incredibly fun, especially when you can rely on your armor to protect you from majority of the shots coming your way. So the game in this video will be done using the BR350B APHE BC round, not quite the best round in the tank, although it is the best one I had at the time of making this video. So of course, still researching this vehicle. I haven't done a huge amount of games in it, although to be fair, recently I've been grinding through a lot of the KV-1s that I didn't get previously, as I didn't really have to get them, and came across this little beast, and it is actually pretty damn fun, as well as the KV-1S, which is also a very fun vehicle to drive. So with that said, let's go and take a look at this game that I have actually been really excited to show you guys. Really a game I was very proud with, 12 kills in this game, and surprisingly I didn't get killed myself. So let's go take a look at this. So as you can no doubt see, this game takes place on the map the Maginot Line. Bit of an iffy map there, some people like it, some people don't. Me personally, I do enjoy playing this map a fair bit, especially at lower tier. So I start off by sort of pushing towards the enemy flank on the C point, and not really seeing anything, but then, oh, what's that? Is that a Chi Nu? I think it is. And there we go, our first kill of the game, hit the ammunition. I believe it went through the engine, hit the ammunition load, exploded, and obviously bye-bye him, giving me my first kill of the game. Next up, we have a double kill on 2 enemy vehicles. So starting off with yet another Japanese tank, I believe another Chi Nu actually. So I fire off first shot, knock out his transmission. He is not going anywhere, leaving him just to sit there and be shot at by me. He can fire at me, although it is likely that my armor will be able to bounce or just basically eat up anything that he fires at me, and he did actually just miss a shot before I knocked out his loader. So he ain't going to be able to reload, and that is bye-bye to another Chi Nu. Here's an M22. Now this, yeah, M22s, they worry me. Because of course there are places on this tank that it could theoretically pen, and he's a small quick target. As you see, I've missed the shot because of how quickly he's moving. So what I do is I sort of say, I'm not going to go and try and hide, I'm going to get into open ground to give me as much chance as possible of just being able to get him in an open situation where I can kill him. Now he gets behind me, he knocks out my transmission I believe, so I can't move, and I'm thinking, oh god, I'm gonna die, and then, oh yes, okay, so it turns out the angling of the hill meant that I was actually able to get my gun low enough to aim at his upper frontal plate, go through, knock out the crew, giving me another kill. Now actually I was being shot at here, it was just a case of reloading the ammunition, trying to see where the enemy is. Once the M22 carcass disappears, I can see again, and there's the target, and bye bye Honi 3, little Japanese tank destroyer there. So there we go, 3 kills there. And moving on, we now have another vehicle here. I believe it's an M3 Lee, so I get aimed up, fire off the first shot, and there we go. At least now his 37mm cannon is immobilized, and it looks like his 75mm cannon is too low to actually fire at me. So there we go, an M3 Lee taken out there, knocking out the driver, who was the final crew member needed to give me that kill. So you may remember me saying that you can somewhat confidently rely on your armor to protect you from most things. Well, there are exceptions even in down tiers. For example, M10s, or also known as Achilles, in this battle it is an Achilles, they can be rather dangerous, especially the Achilles with its 17-pounder cannon. So I'm in this situation, it's a 1v5, we have 2 anti-aircraft vehicles, a Valentine off in the distance, and we also have an Achilles and a Honi 3. I'll take out the Valentine with a shot to the upper frontal plate, goes in, knocks out the crew. Next up, I go for the Achilles. Unfortunately, he gets his gun on me a bit quicker than I get on him, and he is able to knock out 2 of my turret crew. Now I'm down to 3 crew members. Now, of course, the KV-1 does have a 5-man crew. This does mean that some crew interchangeability is possible, so if you lose a crew member, as long as you don't lose too many of them, that is, it's not exactly a big deal. Now what I do, Honi 3, I decide to take the Honi 3 out first, just so that I can focus on the Achilles, and, you know, he begins to turn on to me. Reloading that gun, I decide, go for the turret, knock out his way of shooting. He can no longer shoot at me, he goes to hide behind the Honi 3. Luckily, the Honi 3 respawns. His remains disappear, giving me a lovely side shot into the Achilles. So now you may remember there were those 2 anti-aircraft vehicles. Well, yeah, the anti-aircraft vehicles are still alive. I believe they are M13s. Do correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not that well versed in the American low-tier anti-aircraft vehicles, but there are two of them hiding behind that hill. So what I decided to do is, you know what, I'm a KV-1, I'm gonna rush. So I push them. There is one of them right there. He's sitting there. He starts firing machine guns at me, and I'm just sort of sitting there laughing. So I take out the driver. He can't move. He starts shooting at me. Fair dues. So what I decided to do is just knock out the boy in the turret, and boom, there we go. The gunner is knocked out, and also the entire turret placement giving me another kill. This one... yeah, this one made me feel kind of mean. I knock out a fuel tank, he's set on fire, which does then destroy his engine. He starts shooting at me, so I then do the same. I knock out the gunner by basically a 76mm cannon shot to the face. So bye-bye gunner. And now I decide, you know what? I'm not going to waste any more ammunition. Let's do this the clean way. So we decide to test the flex seal on his vehicle and push him into the lake, giving me yet another kill this game. Bye-bye. And that was another kill. There we go. An M16 it was. Two M16s, both taken out with very good efficiency. And one of them even works underwater. Or maybe not. Okay, so moving on now. That was 5 kills, a 1 versus 5 situation, which I won. Granted, I did lose 2 crew members, but I would say that is a worthy sacrifice. So now we're going to come across a Sherman. Shermans, they can be iffy. A bit later in the video, after we finish looking at this game, I'm going to quickly show you the armor penetration for the round I'm using in this game against some of the Shermans you may face in a down tier, and show you that from the front at least, they're quite tricky. From the side, of course, you will pen that all day, and it's likely your APHEBC rounds will set off the ammo, and they will go bye-bye. But from the front, it can be a tiny bit tricky, so I will show you that in a short while. But there we go, another kill, and now we're going to move on. And after driving around the map for a good more 2 or 3 minutes, I eventually come across another Sherman, who I see sneaking up behind me, and I think, yeah, I'm not going to give him a back shot. So I spin around, and this actually takes a while. At range, the rounds from this gun aren't so good, at least the APHEBCs. The earlier rounds, not so good. It has 92mm of pen at best, at closest range 0 angle. So at this range of, I would say, probably around 500 to 800 meters against the angled front of the Sherman, yeah, not so good. Now, as you can see, this is an earlier Sherman, and it's not doing anything. But there is a spot you can aim for. At the very top of that upper frontal plate, just before the turret, it goes into the 20mm thick piece of armor that is the entire top of the chassis. So if you hit that, as you saw there, it will go through and kill the crew. So I will show you that in just a sec in the armor protection analysis for 2 versions of the Sherman, one with the flat front and one with the more curved front, just to demonstrate the sort of best way to kill them at different ranges. But there we go, so that was the end of that game. 12 kills, didn't die, got beat quite a bit, did bounce quite a few shots, definitely demonstrating the effectiveness of this tank very nicely. Now, for me personally, that game was incredibly fun. That was the first game after a lot of grinding of higher tier British tanks, trying to spade out some of the challengers, more specifically the Challenger 1 Mark III. So going from that grinding at top tier to going down to this, being a tad overpowered in a down tier game, and just generally having fun, it was really nice. And I really got this game and just thought, you know what, let's just make a video on a low tier tech tree vehicle, see what people think. But anyway, let's get into the Shermans. So 2 versions I'm going to pick out is the M4A1 with the curved sort of frontal armor, and the M4A2 with the flat angled frontal armor. Now we're going to look at the A2 first. These are generally tanks you will see a fair amount in down tiers, and possibly in up tiers if people just have them on their up tier lineup. They might just have them on the lineup because they haven't researched other tanks of that BR, you never know. We're going to be using the BR350B round, APHEBC, same round that I was using in that game, just for consistency's sake. So at 500 meters, penetration possibility is low on that frontal plate, although it is likely you will be able to pen the transmission block, although the transmission is there, and, you know, at 1000 meters, yeah, you're not going to pen that main upper frontal plate, although again, the transmission sort of area down below that plate can be penned, although it's likely the transmission will just eat up that shot. So the M4A1 curved frontal armor, a lot weaker, earlier version of the Sherman. 500 meters, you are more or less going to pen the entire front of that tank at 500 meters. A few little spots where it's a bit iffy, but for the most part, that will go through. At 1500 meters though, yeah, it's not going to go through. for the most part, but that is that upper frontal plate weak spot. It sort of meets there. If you can just hit it right on that spot, it's likely your shell will go through and just murder the entire crew. So that's what you should try and do. Or if you have an urban map, that makes it a lot easier for you, because it's fairly unlikely that in an urban map you are going to have to be engaging at any distance over 500 meters. So that does help. Although on maps like Maginot, it is worth knowing those little points on tanks you will see commonly that you will need to hit to kill them. So really, just to finish up this video, I think one thing to say is that for me personally, I've done a lot of games in the KV-1E, which is effectively this tank with a little bit more armor and a weaker gun. So trading a bit of armor for a more powerful gun really is a trade I was fairly happy with. The armor is still brilliant. The gun with a bit more firepower is incredibly useful, especially against some of those American tanks with that angled frontal armor, which can be a bit tricky on the KV-1E. So it's very nice to have just that little bit of extra firepower there. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching the video. Huge thanks to my Patreons. You guys really do help me get these videos out on time, really help with that motivation. So thanks guys for that. If you did enjoy the video, please consider smashing the like button, maybe even subscribe to the channel. If you do, that would be massively appreciated. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.